Check out this cute little step stool. We're going to do a quick flip on it for a client who wants to use it as a plant stand. The top had some linoleum that was tacked to it. So first I'm removing all of those tacks, and the linoleum came off super easy. The rubber treads on the steps came up even easier. And again, I had to remove the tacks. So I think the natural wood is really pretty. So first I'm going to clean it, and I'm using Dixie Belle's White Lightning, and I'm really saturating the piece because it was pretty dirty. So my client wants to preserve anything she can of the original design. So the white paint is what we're going to try to preserve, although we're going to do a crackle finish and it'll peek through some newer black paint. But we're just going to seal the top of this wood, and I think that'll be really pretty. Originally we were talking about doing some decoupage, but I think the real wood is really pretty. And I'm using some 80 grit sandpaper first, and then I'll go to a 120 and then a 220. So all my tools aren't in one place yet after this move, so I'm using just sanding by hand, and really it's pretty simple. As I sand, around the edges there's some green that begins to appear. And I think that the piece was painted green originally, and then it was painted white. Whether the treads were painted underneath or not, I'm not 100% sure. It could have been, but then some water maybe got underneath those rubber tiles and the linoleum and maybe took the finish off, or took the paint off. That's maybe my theory as to how that happened. But I kind of think it's cool. Since I'm doing a natural finish on there, just that little bit of green sort of shows some of the history of the piece, that it was painted green at one point in time. So if my client is cool with it, we're gonna leave that little detail. Next, I'm going to apply some Dixie Belle's Crackle medium. I really shouldn't be using this brush. It's probably better to use a chip brush, but I'll wash it out right away because essentially this stuff's kind of like glue. But I'm just coating all the areas that are painted in white. So everything but our treads and the top of the piece. While I wait for the Crackle medium to dry, I'm going to use some clear coat in flat. We just want to seal this so that it'll be okay if we put some plants on it, and if it gets a little water on it, it's going to give us some water resistance, but it's not going to change the sheen at all of the natural wood. It's just going to seal that finish in. this piece is for the same client who had the secretary redone. Remember the 3-part secretary series? She sent me these photos in her room, and now I see why she wanted that butterfly theme. It's just beautiful in her home, and it is really just perfect. So I was happy and honored to be able to preserve the memories from these older pieces of furniture that have been in her family. So it's dried overnight and my Crackle medium is good and glossy. So I am taking silk in Anchor, and the trick to getting a good crackle is to not overbrush. Or back brush. So try to just put your strokes down, generous amount of paint, and then just kind of leave them be. Just don't go back and forth over the same spots. It's hard not to, and especially for me to get coverage with black over white. So it's a challenge, but it's really cool as you go to see the crackle happen right before your eyes. Now I'm going to add some brown wax to it. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it does give it a little bit of an aged appearance. And I'm not worried about sealing it in because I did use silk that has a sealer built in. So it's not a necessary step, but I think it just adds a little something to the whole age of the piece. I'm doing it on the steps as well, especially concentrating on those corners. That's where the buildup of dirt would be, and also where it's wearing, supposedly, to show that green underneath. I think it looks pretty cool. And remember, we did seal this, so I'm not concerned with using clear wax to float it on there. And now I'm using a transfer that comes from the Iron Orchid Designs Traditional Pots Transfer Set. A little 220 grit sandpaper to just give it that look that it's part of the piece, and then some heavy brown waxing over the top. Again, concentrating on the corners. I really hope you like this video, and you can purchase these products, the Dixie Belle product, on my website, which is currently still LaVintageDecor.company. I have to get my name changed, but I have to have my domain for 60 days before I can do that. So things take time, I guess. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and take a look at everything we have to offer in the description box, especially our channel membership group. Check out the Amazon wish list as well as my Amazon storefront. I hope you like this little project. It's great for a quick flip. Thank you so much for watching today. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Subscribe and visit us at Statement Designs on social media. Stay well.